everybody, and welcome to the Burning Hammer Live. On today's live stream, we're going to talk about the two matches that have been announced for Forbidden Door. Excuse me. We're going to get in. Excuse me. We're going to get into Roman Reigns' newly designed title, and then we're going to get into what to expect for Monday Night Raw. So to kick us off, we've got two matches announced for Forbidden Door. Bryan Danielson's taking on Kazuchika Okada in a dream match. Dillon, why don't you give us your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. This is truly like a we are not worthy of this match situation, dream match situation. Okada versus Danielson. Holy shit. It's actually happening. It's actually
Yeah.
happening. And I can't wait. I don't know what else to say. Like truly just the dream match. Like it's going to be has potential to be one of the greatest technical wrestling matches of all time. One of the greatest. Oh my god, two of the greatest of all time. Two of the greatest when it comes to in-ring technicians, as far as professional wrestling goes. And Jesus, so excited.
Yeah, Okada is easily going to go down as one of the best wrestlers to never wrestle for WWE. And so, like, I don't know if people fully understand, like, the level he's at in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Like, he's on the level of, like, John Cena for them. So it's crazy that we're getting Danielson versus Okada. It's a match a few years ago that we were fantasy booking, and now that we actually get it at a pay-per-view like Forbidden Door 2, it's just truly incredible. And another match we're getting at Forbidden Door is Kenny Omega, the god of professional wrestling, will be defending his IWGP United States Championship against Will Ospreay. These guys are two men that simply do not like each other, but when they step into the ring, by God, is it a good match. I'm super excited for this one. Ospreay had a really funny comment about Canada and how it sucks. And he was just like, Chris Jericho, asshole. Don Callis, asshole. El Desperado, asshole. Canada sucks. And he was just shitting on Canada. So I'm super excited for this match. What about you, Dillon?
Yeah, he was definitely healing himself up. It's in Montreal, right? Or it's in Toronto?
I think it's in Toronto.
Yeah, I know it's in
Toronto.
Canada though.
It's in Toronto, Ontario.
Yeah, so he's definitely getting himself some heat going up against Canada's own Kenny Omega. But I kind of one, awesome that this match is happening. So excited for it, obviously.
Yes.
This is going to be just an absolute brawl. These two men are going to hit each other in the face really hard, and they're going to do crazy wrestling maneuvers onto each other's neck and head area. There's definitely going to be a lot of that. And that stuff is crazy looking. And these two guys, I don't know if I can say I've ever like their match at Wrestle Kingdom. They just beat the shit out of each other. It was very very, very cool. So very much looking forward to it. I know I do remember Will Ospreay like kind of talking about how he's kind of working on like changing his style a little bit to try to like extend his career maybe, because he does have such like a brutal style like on the body.
Yeah.
So regardless of all that, yeah, this is just a very, very heated rivalry. Super, super happy we're getting part 2 at Forbidden Door. And I'm kind of expecting Ospreay to win.
Yeah, so this is actually the third time these two men have faced off. They faced off in 2015 at PWG, so this is the third time. Like you said, they just wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom 17. I feel like you're right. I think Ospreay's going to win just because I think they probably want their U.S. champ to wrestle in their company more than Kenny Omega is able to because he wrestles for AEW, and Will Ospreay has no desire to wrestle in the United States. So I feel like that's the way they're gonna go. So super excited for the way this pay-per-view is shaping out. And then WWE debuted a new title.
Yeah.
Dillon, why don't you give us your thoughts, give us your initial reaction when they unveiled it, and then give us your initial or your reaction now that you've had a couple days to think about it.
I guess my initial reaction was just like, wow, I can't believe they actually just made it the same belt with more gold. Even though, like, the entire time, that's kind of what we thought they were going to do. But then they did it, and we were like, oh, wow, they actually did it. Oh, wow. It's not good.
So it's funny because we've been talking about how they have to do it, and we were like, maybe they'll design a new title, maybe a Winged Eagle 2.0, and then in the back of our head, we were always just like, but what if they just make it gold? So we finally got the gold WWE title.
Yep. And it's not the best looking.
No, it's not. I stand by my opinion that it somehow looks worse than the WWE title that we had. I don't know what it is. I think it's the texture of the gold that they put behind the WWE logo. It looks kind of like tinfoil. It's like a crinkly, it looks like when you get food from a restaurant and it's like a 24 karat gold thing, and then it's sort of like that thin layer is just like over top of it. And I don't think it looks good. I think it looks worse. And you've been saying that a lot of people think this could be just a placeholder title for Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I saw on Twitter. I'm not going to necessarily say that's what I think, because I think that's definitely a possibility for sure. Especially considering it says undisputed champion on it. That's the most annoying fucking thing about it, because like, if you wanted to keep the stupid universal title name, whatever, fine. It can't be called the undisputed title, because it's not. There's another world title.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's the most annoying thing. It's like, the universal title, whatever, I can deal with a stupid name. Like, the undisputed title, now we're just like, now you're really just undermining the other title.
Yeah.
And the other title is so much better looking.
Yeah.
Like, worlds better looking. So it's really just we'll see. But I really hope, like I said, a lot of people, so yeah, that's what it was on Twitter. A lot of people are saying that it could possibly be like a placeholder title, similar to like when The Rock had that transition title that he like lost back to Cena at Mania, and then Cena ended up losing it to Orton when he carried both, and then that all ran into the singular title.
Yeah, so I think the thing that annoys me the most about it is what you said, the name of it. Like, how are we going to sit here and call it the undisputed WWE Universal Championship when it's not? Like, undisputed is like when you have two titles at the same time, and then you are the undisputed champ, but you're not, Roman. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I don't know why they're doing that. I wish they would just call it the WWE Championship, but let's just hope that this is going to be a transition title, because, my God.
Yeah, so that's what people are saying. They're like, a lot of people are saying they kind of feel like how almost all like the major champions in WWE history have like a title that is like synonymous with them. I think that easily just could have been the blue and black. Like, I think that they didn't need to make a transition title if that's what their goal for it is. You know what I mean? But if that is what it is, then if that's what their goal was, then this was them introducing what will go down as like the Roman Reigns title. And if
So
that's the case, it sucks for Roman because that
how
title sucks.
how long do you think he's going to have to hold that gold title for it to be considered the Roman Reigns title? Like,
Um,
do you think them giving him this title and
I
the
think it's
years?
already the Roman Reigns title, kind of. Unless they don't like, if they get rid of it, it can just be the Roman Reigns title. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
Because
do
it
you
was like
like?
presented to him as like a gift for his 1,000 day. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was
that's the
like
only
a.
thing that's given me hope is that they did it like that. So hopefully that's the case. I'm just curious to like if this giving him that title solidifies him being champion for another 6 months, another 8 months, another year. Like, what does giving him this
I
title
don't think
that
so.
because there's reports that he could hold it until Mania 40. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's gonna happen just because of where we are in the Bloodline storyline.
Yeah.
I think we're too far. They can't extend the Bloodline storyline until Mania. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like once the Bloodline collapses, I can maybe you give Roman like one, like maybe Roman somehow gets through it one time, but I don't even think that makes sense. I think it's like when the Bloodline collapses, that's when it
Agreed.
collapse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think
So
that's
and it looks
and
like we're coming up on that. So
yeah, so I think once the bloodline officially collapses, I think that's when we're going to get the Cody title run. Um which I could see him sort of throwing out Roman's title and then them giving him a new title. So
yeah.
let's just hope that's the case. But before we get on to the Monday Night Raw preview, if you are unaware, the Burning Hammer podcast is a professional wrestling podcast where we release new episodes every single Thursday. We cover all things professional wrestling. We just released an episode where we talked about wrestling hot takes and we discussed the top 5 tag teams in the world. You can listen to it on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast. You can watch it on YouTube at The Burning Hammer. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at The Burnt Hammer. And you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and like I said, YouTube at The Burning Hammer. And follow us on Twitch at The Burning Hammer Podcast. And make sure to check out Vendetta Sports Media. You can follow them on Twitter at Vendetta VSM. And you can follow them on Instagram and TikTok at Vendetta Sports Media. And check out VendettaSportsMedia.com for all of your sports needs, TVs, movies, gaming, you name it, they cover it. Head over to VendettaSportsMedia.com. Dillon's got 2 articles coming on the way, and I recently published a couple rumors that are going around in the world of professional wrestling, so definitely make sure to check out VendettaSportsMedia.com. Let's move on, because it's Monday, and you know what that means. Monday Night Raw is tonight, and we've got an interesting card thus far. And actually, one thing I did want to touch on is that WWE officially announced a multi-year partnership with Twitch this morning. So WWE is back on Twitch. It makes perfect sense. They have a ton of wrestlers who are super into gaming and already live stream on Twitch. Plus, you will be getting a side cast of Monday Night Raw. Tonight is going to be the first one where they will have different wrestlers as the host of the show to watch Monday Night Raw and go behind the scenes a little bit for the show. Plus, you will be able to watch the premium live event press conferences on Twitch as well. So that's something big that happened this morning. So it's crazy that this wasn't I know they had a Twitch channel before, but they haven't partnered with them really. So, I mean, you got the biggest professional wrestling company in the world, and you got the biggest streaming website in the world finally coming together. So definitely be on the lookout for all of that good stuff. So to kick us off, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, is appearing on Miz TV to pretty much discuss his challenge for Brock Lesnar. This one, I think, has potential to be a lot of fun. Dillon, what do you think we're going to get out of this segment?
Yeah, do you think Brock shows up? That's what I'm thinking.
Um,
I'm trying to decide whether or not I think Brock is going to show up or not.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense for him to show up when they're doing like they do a talk show segment like this, because
Yeah.
it feels like every single talk show ends in a fight.
Hmm.
But maybe we'll get Cody versus Miz in like a main event or something. But probably not, because he's still dealing with that broken arm. I think Lesnar could come and just destroy everything like he's been
Hmm.
doing. And there's, per Wrestling Observer newsletter, the report is they're doing the third match at SummerSlam and not Money in the Bank. So, that's shocking. What do you think?
Yeah. Fuck, dude. Maybe Roman is gonna hold the title till WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, so I don't. The thing I feel like we just keep passing by the moments for him to drop the title, and then I just feels like the next thing you know it, we're just gonna be at Mania 40, and he's still gonna be champ. But
Yeah.
because we're probably gonna get Roman and Solo versus the Usos at Money in the
At
Bank,
Money in the Bank.
or Roman versus Jimmy, and then we'll probably get Roman versus potentially Jay at SummerSlam, or Roman versus Solo at SummerSlam, depending how fast things go. But so they're playing on Cody Rhodes having a broken arm, which I was not. I hate when they do that. And so from the time he broke his arm, it's usually about 6 to 8 weeks to get it fully healed, which would have been around the time for Money in the Bank. So I don't know why they wouldn't just do it at Money in the Bank, because they could have played off that he was fully healed, because there was enough time between Night of Champions and Money in the Bank. But them moving it to SummerSlam makes me think they're finally going to add a massive stipulation to this match.
Well, it also could totally still happen at Money in the Bank.
Yes. In fact, I still think there's a good chance it happens.
Yeah, I still think it's probably gonna, in the back of my head, to be honest. It just doesn't make
How
are you gonna play this off to the end of August? How are you gonna keep this going all summer?
Exactly. And he challenged him to Money in the Bank.
That's what I'm saying.
So I don't know how they're gonna get to SummerSlam. I get this feud is something that should probably take place at one of the 4 major shows, but I just don't know.
That's their problem, that they started it here.
Yeah, and I just don't know how they're going to hold this until.
And also, it's like this Money in the Bank is supposed to be a big one. You know what I mean? It's in London, like.
Yeah, so the match, the Money. Let's talk about Money in the Bank real quick, because we got some qualifying matches that we'll get into, but the Money in the Bank matches are looking sneaky good this year.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just see real quick so I make sure I get all of the qualified people right. I believe it is Ricochet, Nakamura, and LA Knight for the men's side. And then Zelina Vega is the
She's the only one.
Yeah, she's the only woman in the women's match that has officially qualified. What do you think, LA Knight probably?
To win?
Yeah.
Probably. I really think so. I think it's his time. I mean, I think they know how over he is. I really, really hope so, man.
Yeah, and
I could see Nakamura getting it though. Like, I think Nakamura is honestly, based off, I mean, I'm gonna publish this article today. So I'm publishing my match card prediction article today. So if anybody wants to like look farther into it. But I actually think Finn is going to end up being in the Money in the Bank match, because I think Dom is going to go against Seth at Money in the Bank.
Nice. Give it to me.
Yeah. So I think, so my prediction for like the final, so
it would make sense, because I'm assuming they're going to do 3 from Raw and 3 from SmackDown. And
yeah,
we've got 2 from Raw, we got 1 from SmackDown, and then we have 2 more qualifying matches on this week's
Yeah.
episode of SmackDown. So
So and my hope was that we get Butch and Ali as the two guys coming out of those matches. My hope was that this Money in the Bank match ends up looking like Nakamura, LA Knight, Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, Butch, and Finn Balor. That would be
I
next
think
level
they're gonna have Escobar probably win.
over Ali.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think there's a good chance, and that would still be awesome.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing. Like, for all of these qualifying matches, like every single one, I'm just like, I would love for either of those two people to
yeah,
be in the match. And like, so it's either gonna be Ricochet, Knight, Nakamura, and then Butch, Corbin, Santos Escobar, Ali, and then someone from Raw. And I think that pool of talent just goes to show truly how deep WWE is in their talent. And it's nice to see them give this like next generation, these like mid card guys, the spotlight and a shot at Money in the
yeah.
Bank. And
There's nobody in Money in the Bank who like. It doesn't look like there's gonna be like any like wasted spot. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
sometimes there's wasted spots. There's just guys who they're like they're just filler. Like they don't need to be in the match. It's not gonna do anything for them.
yeah,
You know they're not gonna win. They're just in the match because they don't know what to do with them right now. Where it's like, I don't know, like Drew McIntyre, for an example. If he came back and he was in Money in the Bank, like that would be pretty cool. But he's not gonna win, and he doesn't
yeah,
need like it would just be like filler. It's better to throw a guy like Butch in there and get him out. You know what I mean? Have him go out there and see what he can do in front of a big crowd in a big match on his own. You know what I mean? And I think
yeah.
that's why Butch. I think this is going to be Butch's first push into like singles stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
have them ball out at Money in the Bank, and it's gonna be
yeah,
awesome. And so it's the same thing with the women's match. So, for Friday Night SmackDown, it'll be Bayley versus Mishin, and then Io Sky versus Shotzi. I think Io Sky's an early candidate to win the Money in the Bank. I think she should win Money in the Bank. And then for Monday Night Raw, we've got two very interesting matches. So Becky Lynch is taking on Sonya Deville in a qualifying match. Who do you think's gonna win this?
yeah. So this is where I'm all kind of confused in my head, right?
It's tricky.
Because I think so. They got Zoe Stark versus Natalia as another qualifying match. So I'm like, if Zoe's part of me is like, maybe they'll put both Zoe Stark and Becky in the Money in the Bank, so they'll have like a kind of thing going into that match. Or they won't put either of them in it, and we'll get Zoe versus Becky at Money in the Bank with like Trish and Zoe's corner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, my thing.
But I kind of think they're just gonna put them both in the match.
I think they're not going to do either of those, and I think they're going to put Zoe in the match and not Becky.
And not Becky.
Right.
I think there's a chance of that too. I just think like
because I think they're doing Becky versus Trish at Money in the Bank,
again, gotcha.
and then third match at SummerSlam.
No, yeah, totally. I'm with you.
And so
I thought they might end up going like Zoe versus Becky at Money in the Bank, and then Trish and Zoe versus Lita and Becky at SummerSlam.
they could, but I just think, especially after Trish just beat Becky, I think
Yeah, that's true.
They're gonna have to run it back. And so what I think, it's interesting because I could see both of them costing each other the matches as well. But I just think they're so high on Stark, and it shows. They're not going to put her with Trish if they're not super high on her, and she's been picking up a lot of good wins recently. So I think what could happen is that Zoe Stark's match is first. She wins, whether Becky Lynch comes out, maybe Trish will even the odds, and then so that way Trish takes out Becky, and then Zoe Stark isn't. That way Zoe Stark can just get the win while staying focused on the match and not have to worry about Becky. And then I could see Zoe costing Becky the match later in the night. I think the order of the matches is going to be important and will probably tell a lot as well.
Yeah, totally. Because it's not necessarily a super baby face to do to just go out and call somebody a match.
Yeah. So, and like I still think we're getting, like I said, I think we're gonna get the trilogy, and those
And
are
then,
also the reports as well that it's gonna be a 3-match thing.
so
So
what are your thoughts as far as Bailey and Io go? Because I think Io's definitely so that's my other thing. I'm like, the only way that Io would possibly maybe not be in Money in the Bank is if she's gonna go up against Asuka.
that
But do you think
also,
we're gonna
yeah,
get the rematch, the Bianca Asuka rematch? Like, we gotta get that, right?
yeah. So I still think we're like Io Sky is gonna win the Money in the Bank. I am very
Okay, all
confident
right.
about that.
What do you
Um,
think about Do you think Bailey's gonna be in the Money in the Bank?
um, I do.
Okay,
Um, and so the way I'm viewing this situation is Bianca versus Asuka, Money in the Bank. And then Asuka's going to win. So that'll leave Asuka open for SummerSlam. I think Io Sky's going to win Money in the Bank. And she's either going to face Asuka at SummerSlam or maybe Io versus Bailey at SummerSlam. I think it's more likely to do Asuka versus Io Sky at SummerSlam. Um, and I think in the Money in the Bank match is when we're going to get like a big tear in the Damage Control uh,
gotcha.
faction. I could see like Io Sky and Bailey both at the top of the ladder, and then Bailey just tries to hit Io Sky, and then Io just like fucking wrecks her. So
Yeah,
I think at Money in the Bank is definitely when that.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, and I just think Io Sky is the woman to win the match. Like it's just
Hmm.
it's that simple. And again, the same thing with the women's match. It's going to be very, very good. So I am super pumped for this year's Money in the Bank ladder matches. And let's move on to the main event of Monday Night Raw. We got Seth Rollins defending his WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest. Now, Seth issued an open challenge via social media on Twitter, and Damian Priest accepted the challenge. I am super pumped that they're giving Damian Priest a world title shot. Apparently, they're super high on him as well. And I'm excited to just watch him face off against Seth and get like a nice little solo match in the main event of Monday Night Raw. Like the thing
Totally.
with Seth is like it doesn't matter who he's going to face. He can have an insanely good match
Yeah,
with
dude. He's a star maker. He can make anybody a star.
yeah.
Like, literally, if you're in a program with Rollins, he can make you a star.
And it like he had that one really good match against the Miz. I think it was probably a few months
Yeah.
ago by now. And shout out to the Miz. The Miz had a really good match against Ricochet, I believe, on Raw the other week, and like he wrestled that match, and he was just doing moves that he like never really does, but it's just like, hey, I can still do this move if I have to. Like he hit a springboard frog splash, and then right after he was like, I did a springboard, and he just hit a bunch of really sick moves. So the Miz is awesome. Let's put some respect on the Miz's name. I would have liked to see him in this match, in the Money in the Bank match, but I also would like to see Ricochet, so it's all good. Dillon, how do you think this match is going to play out?
Yeah. Seth is gonna get a clean win here. Get him a
Agreed.
nice clean first title defense.
I think they're going to give this match like 15 to 20 minutes and just let these two fight because they set the tone for what this title is going to be like in
Yeah, it's like
most
the
of the
workhorse
matches.
championship.
Like you're going to be fighting for this title, and we've seen it with all of the qualifying matches in the tournament for the world title. So I'm super excited for this match, and it's just going to it's the most prestigious title, maybe behind the IC title currently, but it's easily top two already of the prestigious titles in WWE. Do you think anyone else from the Judgment Day is going to get involved leading up to another match? Do you think Seth's going to run the gauntlet through the Judgment Day?
I think probably. I think that's a good. I like the idea of like Finn being in Money in the Bank and being like, and just in case Dom Dom doesn't get it done, we'll have Finn and Money in the Bank to make sure. Like something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I hope, dude. Give me
Hey,
Dom
let him
versus Seth.
talk. Let him speak. That's my favorite. I don't know what. It's every time they start booing him, let him speak.
Yeah, dude. I need Dom versus Seth for the world
Oh my
title.
god, it would be so
Give it to
funny.
me. They have to. They're smart enough to know that's the
Yeah.
move. Hopefully, we'll get it on Raw or even at Money in the Bank. So
Nah, I wanted that Money in the Bank.
that would be sick. Super sick. So, yeah, that's going to wrap up the live stream. Monday Night Raw is tonight. It's looking like a good episode. And we're going to talk about, or we'll release a short form video in the future, maybe a YouTube video as well. But I forgot we wanted to talk about the women's world title situation. But we'll get into that potentially in a YouTube video or on a live stream on a different day. So, like I said, the Burning Hammer podcast, listen to it. It's a professional wrestling podcast. New episodes every single Thursday. It's available on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and you can watch it on YouTube if you want to see our new setup we got going. You can follow us on Twitter at The Burnt Hammer. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at The Burning Hammer. Follow us on Twitch at The Burning Hammer Podcast for your live stream needs. And we write for Vendetta Sports Media. We cover professional wrestling. We do a ton of fantasy booking stuff, plus we cover some news as well. So follow Vendetta on their Twitter at VendettaVSM. Follow them on Instagram and TikTok at Vendetta Sports Media, and make sure to check out VendettaSportsMedia.com for all of your sports needs, TV, movies, gaming, you name it, they cover it. Head over to VendettaSportsMedia.com. That's going to wrap up another live stream. Make sure to follow us on Twitter because we will be live tweeting for all of the wrestling shows, including Monday Night Raw. So if you want to hear our immediate and initial reactions to everything in the world of wrestling, follow us on social media. With that being said, I'm Mark Izzo. He's Dillon O'Brien. This was the Burning Hammer Live, and we will catch you guys on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Keep burning those hammers.